This program explores conspiracy theories, speculative ideologies, science fiction, fantasy, philosophical discussions, and alternate interpretations of reality. Viewer discretion is advised, and we encourage critical thinking while engaging with these narratives. What if the history we know is a carefully crafted illusion? For centuries, we have been told a linear story of human progress, filled with milestones, wars, and discoveries. But what if some of those events never happened? Could the true purpose of his story be to obscure the truth and maintain control over humanity? This episode explores the controversial theory that history has been extended by inserting fictional years to create a distorted perception of our timeline. One of the most intriguing theories regarding fabricated history is the phantom time hypothesis, proposed by German historian Heribert Illig. According to Illig, approximately 297 years, from 614 to 911 CE, were entirely fabricated. This means that Charlemagne, one of the most celebrated rulers in European history, may have never existed. Key arguments for this theory include lack of archaeological evidence. Surprisingly, few artifacts and written records exist from this supposed period, raising questions about its authenticity. Gregorian calendar reform. The adoption of the Gregorian calendar in 1582 suggests that there were discrepancies in the Julian calendar, leading some to believe that years were artificially added. Motivations of power. The Holy Roman Empire and the Vatican may have collaborated to rewrite history to legitimize their rule and align their reigns with biblical prophecies. Throughout history, conquerors and rulers have manipulated timelines and narratives to consolidate power. Examples include the burning of the Library of Alexandria. Ancient knowledge was destroyed, possibly to erase evidence of civilizations that didn't fit the dominant narrative, or perhaps these writings and scriptures never existed at all. Chinese dynastic manipulations. Certain Chinese emperors were known to erase the achievements of previous dynasties to enhance their own legacy. The discovery of America. It is widely believed that Christopher Columbus discovered America in 1492, but evidence suggests that the continent was already known to select groups. The elite may have deliberately kept this knowledge hidden from the masses for centuries. It is also believed that the Vikings and other civilizations reached America long before Columbus. Moreover, some theorists argue that the discovery narrative served two purposes. One, to promote the idea that the Earth is round, not as a plate, but as a ball or globe. And two, to sell the concept of a new world that some believe might be Africa or another known landmass, hidden for centuries from the general population. History lessons in schools and documentaries on television play a critical role in making people believe these narratives. They sell us history as absolute truth, ensuring the majority accept and never question the timeline. What if other lost civilizations were deliberately erased or their timelines altered to fit a false historical narrative? If years were indeed added to our timeline, archaeological evidence might not align with the official chronology. Some examples: the Great Pyramid of Giza. While many view the pyramids as extraordinary achievements of ancient engineering, some theorists argue they were deliberately placed to sell the idea of an ancient Egyptian civilization that might not have existed. The pyramids, along with the Sphinx, were designed to bolster the narrative of civilizations predating modern history by thousands of years. Curiously, the focus is often on the pyramids in Africa, while those in the Americas, Asia, and elsewhere are largely overlooked. They tell us that Earth is billions of years old, but some believe that Earth is 6,000 to 12,000 years old, while others think the true age of Earth is simply the current year, 2025, or the year in which you are watching this video. The elite might use these structures to justify tales of ancient religions, civilizations, and even extraterrestrial involvement to push the idea of a globe Earth. Advanced civilizations. Evidence of advanced engineering and astronomy from supposedly primitive times challenges the linear progression of history. But were these discoveries planted to mislead us into believing in grandiose ancient cultures, or are they hiding something else? Out-of-place artifacts. U parts. Items like the Antikythera mechanism or the Baghdad battery suggest knowledge far beyond what should have existed at their time. Were these objects used to fabricate stories of forgotten eras and impossible achievements? Could these anomalies indicate that we've been misled about the true timeline of human development? Or even worse, were some of these discoveries planted by the elite to deceive us? Wars have shaped human history, but how many of them were genuine conflicts, and how many were orchestrated by those in power? World Wars. The First and Second World Wars are often cited as pivotal events in modern history. But were they truly about nations in conflict, or were they designed to reorganize power structures and deepen control over populations? Modern wars. Many contemporary wars, from the War on Terror to regional conflicts, appear to serve economic and political agendas rather than genuine disputes. Could all major wars be scripted events? The role of the military-industrial complex. Wars create massive profits for a select few while keeping populations divided and distracted. Is this by design? Religion has been a powerful tool in shaping history. Could fabricated years have been added to align with biblical prophecies or to support religious doctrines? The year 1000 panic. Medieval Europe was gripped by apocalyptic fears tied to the turn of the first millennium. Was this narrative created to instill control and fear? Biblical chronology. Some believe that the timeline was expanded to align historical events with biblical stories, lending them more credibility. The same skepticism applies to figures like Plato and William Shakespeare. Many believe they were either part of the elite or entirely fictional characters created to push specific narratives. Plato's works, supposedly written before Christ or before our era, raise questions about the origins of these eras. What does before our era even mean? When did their era end, and what truly marked the beginning of our era? The coming of Jesus Christ? Christ himself is considered by many to be a fabricated character. What changed after the coming of Christ? This pivotal moment, often marked as the beginning of our era, invites deeper scrutiny. Why was it chosen as the dividing line, and what narratives were built around it to serve those in power? If history has been fabricated, what does this mean for our understanding of the present? Control of knowledge. Who benefits from keeping us in the dark about our true past? Governments, religious institutions, or even secret societies? Massive cover-up. Could a global elite have coordinated to hide the truth? If so, what are they protecting? History as we know it might not be as reliable as we've been led to believe. Whether or not entire centuries were fabricated, one thing is clear. Those in power have always controlled the narrative. It's up to us to question, investigate, and seek the truth. His story may be written by the victors, but the truth belongs to those who dare to search for it.